Welcome to Unlikely Lovers. Coming up, meet the woman from the Czech Republic who gave up everything to be with Nabil.
I can't see anything strange about him. He just appears completely normal to me.
Join Teresa, who took a holiday romance to the extreme and married her Greek waiter.
And he was behind the bar, and I just remember him saying, "Hello, girls," as he does.
Ross enjoys the joys of an older woman.
I found out she was 54. I was quite shocked. I would have said she was about 45, something like that. I wouldn't have said she was 35, obviously.
While Bibs discovers the benefits of an older man. And we meet Flo and Percy, who hold the world record for being married 80 years, which these days is pretty unlikely.
Oh, I always kiss him goodnight, and I always hold hands.
But first,
come here, darling, sit next to me.
I'm getting under the covers, I'm off to sleep.
What are you doing right over there? Get your ass over here.
Tired.
Get sat up a bit more.
Marcela gave up a great job and husband in the Czech Republic to be with her unlikely lover, disabled actor Nabil.
I've come across it so many times, but people assume that I can't fuck. I get people coming up to me wondering if I've got a penis and do I know how to use it.
That's true.
What? Oh,
That they wonder, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even...
I'm surprised that they may ask questions like this, but it really happens.
Yeah.
I would say people most often think that I'm a kind of carer. I'm just someone pushing the chair and not really having anything with Nabil. So they usually either communicate with me because they think I'm the one responsible for him, or they communicate with him and just completely ignore me. So they rarely, people in the street or random people rarely take us as a couple.
But they're equally surprised when they see me driving.
But Nabil has no problem with his drive, car or otherwise.
I think we've got a great sex life. Well, luckily I didn't have any kind of prejudice regarding sexual life of disabled people. I had quite normal approach like to any other man, so I don't perceive Nabil as disabled or whatever because I know what he is able to do. I got used to him being in a wheelchair and small, and I can't say it has got any kind of impact. I can't see anything strange about him. He just appears completely normal to me.
The whirlwind romance began over the internet, and after 17 months of emails, the couple rendezvoused in Prague. 10 months later, and after only 2 meetings, Marcela and Nabil were living together in the UK.
The thought that Marcela has had to give up so much to be with me, a great job, well-paid job, she gave up her husband. So I obviously feel a great responsibility for Marcela having to completely change her life just for me. Really gone down in the world coming over here.
Oh yeah, definitely, because I've got no job here. And I thought it must be easy for me to find something here, and actually it isn't. So that was quite surprising and not very pleasant experience. It has been difficult, so I finally went down thinking, okay, so I just take anything.
And after a year of looking for work, Marcela's luck may be on the up.
Oh, very nervous for her. Yeah.
Are you?
Of course. Yeah.
No, you shouldn't.
Why not? I want you to get the job.
Unlikely Lovers to me says that it's people who, on the face of things, don't seem matched. Like somebody who's really short and somebody who's really tall, they don't look as though they would generally be a good match.
Well, anyway, Teresa is 39 and her husband is 8 years younger. Although 31-year-old Sebastian can be officially termed her toy boy, it's not the age gap that makes this couple unlikely. 7 years ago, Teresa and Sebastian had a holiday fling that simply wouldn't be flown.
Would you like coffee then? Relaxing, having my coffee. Just give me the coffee back, yeah, good.
It wasn't my idea to have a holiday, it was a friend of mine. We had a really busy summer, working really, really hard, and we both agreed we needed to have a break. So she said, OK, I'll go to this travel agent and I will go and book something. Basically, I said to her, as long as it's got a sandy beach, I don't really care.
And Teresa and her friend Sarah came to a village on the coast of Corfu and stayed in a small hotel with a big attraction.
First time that I saw Sebastian was when I was walking through the restaurant and he was behind the bar, and I just remember him saying, "Hello girls," as he does. I just thought, oh, he's quite cute.
Just thought, I fancy her, so I had to find a way to talk to her, and I tried everything and she wouldn't respond very much.
Because I quite liked him, I was too shy to show it. I can be extrovert, but equally if I like somebody, I don't really know how to deal with it.
So I had to play some sort of innuendo to get into talking to her.
And it took 2 weeks of flirting and innuendo for Sebastian to get Teresa on her own.
About 3 o'clock in the morning, after like 2 litres of wine, we were on our own. And we kind of had a chat and everything. And we had our first little kiss. After that, we spent time with each other the next day, and then the following day I flew home. So it was a very brief encounter.
All of a sudden, this person goes, so you're left with all the sensation, all the feelings, all the heartbeat, full up, and then nothing.
Teresa went back to Blighty, but found it hard to get back into the old routine.
The job was taking so much of my time and energy, I didn't really have much opportunity to go and meet people. And if I did, it was really out late, drinking, getting drunk, getting up the next morning feeling absolutely rotten, smoking far too much, doing all the things you shouldn't do. And I was kind of living a bit of a Bridget Jonesy kind of life, to be quite honest.
But Bridget Jones was about to do a Shirley Valentine. Teresa gave up everything for her holiday fling. She went back to Corfu, tested the water, realised it was love, and the move became permanent.
Most of my friends and family, when they realised that it was a bit more than a holiday romance, it was serious, I don't think they really believed I'd ever have the guts to do what I did. I don't think even I believed it until I got on the plane, to be quite honest.
But once on the plane, there were new challenges waiting ahead.
I don't think many mothers would want their daughters to leave, but she never really said that to me. She just was more worried that I would be happy and I would be able to adjust to the life here. And she's heard about all kinds of scare stories about Greek mother-in-laws and things not working out.
I realised I was in love with Ellie quite early on, I think, wasn't it? I don't know exactly how long from when we first met, but it was certainly like fairly early on, and I was the first one to say it. We were laid in bed one morning, and it was a Sunday morning lying, and that's when I first said it, wasn't it?
Yeah, you did.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I said it back straight away because I was a bit shell-shocked.
Bibs is 42 and Tony is 62. Unlikely lovers with a 20-year age gap, and that's just for starters.
I think we are an unlikely couple to look at, but I can't see us as an unlikely couple because I think we are the perfect couple.
Bibs might not see the differences, but most other people do.
When we're walking out, it's quite funny. Tony has been called my dad a few times, which we laugh at, and I think he's quite proud about. They stare at me anyway. Because the way I dress, first they see my clothes and then they perhaps think, "Oh, Tony, are you really with that girl?"
These unlikely lovers still live in the same Cornish town where Bibs grew up as the local wild child, and where Tony came to work as a copper over 30 years ago.
I came here as a uniformed policeman in 1972. 28 years old, Babes would have been 9. And who would have thought that now we're married? Over the years, I never took any notice of Babes. I knew who she was, like I knew every youngster in the town as I did at that time.
Tony had just separated from his wife when he came to Wadebridge, and the last thing he expected was to find love in the pub, and at first he didn't.
I would come down here on a Friday or Saturday night and stand at the bar, as I usually did, just to be with people. I used to come here because I was lonely, and I certainly wasn't looking for another relationship. In fact, that was the last thing on my mind at that time. And I say this is pretty much the spot, really, where we first started to talk.
Here's my best coat. With Tony's lovely trousers. Black.
Babes dresses the way she wants to dress, and that's what I really like. She just does her own thing. You just can't keep her down. I always say she bounces around like a bloody great fat budgie, you know.
With my lovely new boots.
I wouldn't say she was a rebel, but she was pretty close to when she was younger.
We knew Tony, or Mr. PC first, as we knew him. I can remember plenty of times back then when I done like backies on a push bike, and he'd say, "Hey, you, Keith, get off your bike now!" And I'd say, "Oh, God, that's that bloody first again." As kids, really hated him.
We argued almost from the time we met, almost to dawn.
It was all about, I hated policemen, and I thought he was pompous, arrogant.
I saw things differently. I certainly believed in what I did as a policeman. Yeah, we were very unlikely at the time.
Unlikely, yes. But as they say, love and hate are very similar emotions.
I'd say you were the most romantic.
Would you?
Yeah, I'm a bit dumb when it comes to stuff like that, really.
Yeah, probably I am the most romantic out of the two of us.
Marcela moved to the UK from the Czech Republic to be with her unlikely lover Nabil. After 12 months in the UK, she still hasn't found a job, but today she has an interview that could affect the couple's future as they know it.
So, there we are. I'm getting really nervous. Whoa.
It'll be alright. You'll wow them.
Alright, I go.
Nope.
First finger.
Nope. Not going.
I'm not going.
No.
Come on, I will it.
I'm nervous for her, yes. I'm also concerned that she doesn't experience too many rejections and become too despondent and believing that because she's from the Czech Republic, she hasn't got a hope of getting any work over here. I find it quite astonishing, really, that she gave up everything. This was only the second meeting that we'd had, and she said, "I think I will come and live with you in May next year." I said, "Oh, really?" Yes. Marcela was the first woman that I'd ever lived with. If Marcela decided that it was just impossible and she's not going to be able to get work in Britain, and she feels that she would be better off going back to the Czech Republic, and I've told her this, I'll go with her, because it's only fair that she tried it, she attempted to live here, and if it becomes impossible for her, then I'll go to wherever she chooses to go.
And if Marcela doesn't get this job, they may have to.
But actually, no, he is romantic, because sometimes I'll be doing something at work and I'll get back to my desk and there'll be a little note on my keyboard that says, "I love you, Ali."
In 1998, Teresa was 33 and she had a holiday romance in Corfu with Sebastian, a 25-year-old waiter. 7 years on, she's still there.
He really is my toy boy. When I met him, he was 25 and I was 33. So there's 8 years or so difference between us.
The thought of my friends and family about being with Teresa was not a very good-looking one. They all had an issue about the age gap, but, you know, who cares about time, really? I was there with a person who I really liked, and I couldn't give a damn whether, you know, anybody said anything about Teresa.
The couple married in a traditional Corfu ceremony in 2003. But when you marry a Greek, you're not just marrying the man, you're marrying the mother-in-law.
My mum had a big issue about it. She would prefer, I think, to have a Greek girl, which is respectable.
She must understand that she's in Greece. She's not anymore in England. She must speak Greek, so she can speak with all of us. But if she doesn't know, it's very difficult for her. And it's not very nice all the time to ask what they say. And tomorrow, if she has children, she must bring the children in our school, in our church, in our parties, in everything. When they are in England, they do that in England. When they are here, they will do exactly what we do it here.
I think one of the things that we had to deal with, or I had to deal with when I came here, was how to balance my relationship with his mum. Actually, I think that she's been brilliant because, you know, it is hard suddenly to have your whole attention of your son and then to have to share him. It is quite tricky, but I think we've got there. I think we are actually a united family. We have our moments, like any mother-in-law and daughter-in-law.
Teresa does her things her own way, my mum does her things their own way. No one is better than the other. They're both trying for the good of you know, everybody. The trouble is I'm in the middle, and that sometimes is not very pleasant, but we're getting over that one.
I don't think you can get away with not speaking Greek, because it's not possible then to integrate with family and your community, because when you're at a family dinner or with friends, if you don't understand or speak, you're like a lemon, really. But I can speak, badly, but enough for people to understand me.
Teresa and Sebastian now run the family taverna together, and Teresa is fully settled into the Greek lifestyle, although there are some home comforts she still misses.
I really miss Indian food. I think your choices here are quite limited culturally. It's Greek or Greek or Greek, basically.
But for Teresa, there's only one Greek for her.
There's really only one reason why I gave up everything to come here. It wasn't the sun, it wasn't the sea, it wasn't any of that, it was Sebastian. And I really love him, so that's it.
But Sebastian isn't the only Greek man to get a British lady on his love boat. We meet up with another real-life Shirley Valentine later in the show. Two months ago, 54-year-old glamorous Gran Jean checked out and seduced 32-year-old Ross when he came to stay at her hotel in Blackpool.
We met when Ross came over here for a few days for a break, and then he wanted a few more days, and then he wanted a few more days, and we thought, we're not going to get rid of him. And then we just went out a couple of times, and I thought, yeah, I like him. And then he said, well, I really, really must go home. You know, I've been here like 2 months now. And I thought, I don't want him to go home. I really don't want him to leave. So I told him. So then we became a couple.
How's that?
Well, that's much better, thank you.
Does that sort of...
I see something at the bottom there.
Oh, well, it wasn't me. It's almost like we've been living together from the start, isn't it? Because of the situation. So, I mean, usually that's not something you jump into immediately, is it really?
No.
A relationship, but...
No, but we have, and it's great when it works. The age gap never worried me. I mean, before I met Ross, I went out with younger guys as well. Not because I consciously went out to look for somebody younger, but just, I don't know, I just find them more interesting, really. I find old men rather boring, to be perfectly honest.
It's like when I first met her, and she said, and I found out she was 54, I was quite shocked. I would have said she was about 45, something like that. I wouldn't have said she was 35, obviously, but there's no way I would have said she was 54.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of people said, oh, is that your son? And I just laugh and say, no, it's my boyfriend, you know, and they say, oh, sorry, and look a bit embarrassed. And they might be embarrassed, I'm not. And I see these women with old men, I'm thinking, God, rather them than me, you know. Are you going to come and molest me while I'm ironing then, like you promised? I was getting the urge, aren't we? Don't matter if it's a hotel or anything, does it? Where we are. Buses, trains, anything. I mean, working in a hotel and there's beds everywhere. I mean, sometimes you think, oh, yes, that'd be nice.
Well, that's the trouble. If we did, though, we'd have to bloody make the thing again, wouldn't we? So.
And it'd be never ending, make, wouldn't it?
Yeah. When I talk about a dirty weekend, this isn't exactly what I have in mind, but there you go.
With the chores done, Jean and Ross are all set for an afternoon of pleasure that can't be put into words.
My pet name for Si is Flippers because he's got great big huge feet that are like flippers. He's always waving them around. And I like to put my feet on top of his flippers.
54-year-old Jean and her 32-year-old toy boy Ross are out in the sunshine. But it isn't just the weather that's hot.
Physical side of it, it's good.
Sex gets better as you get older because you get more confident. Well, hopefully you've had more experience. You've got to have sex at least 3 times a week to keep everything going, your heart rate and everything ticking over nicely. So that's my excuse. More like 3 times a night.
She's got a lot of tricks up her sleeve, believe me, she has. I've still got a few to find out, but dear me. She doesn't seem to me as being that much older than me. I've had a couple of, shall we say, flings, as it were, with older women, but nothing long-term about it. But I remember a girl I was going out with for a bit, and to be honest, I fancied her mum more than I fancied the girl, but there's definitely something about older women, definitely.
When I'm going out with younger guys, I'm always thinking, well, at some point in the future, perhaps they're going to sort of want to have a, settle down, get married, have a family. Well, of course, I've been there, done all that. I have no intention of having more children, obviously, so sometimes that can cause a problem. And I've split up with people over that before, and obviously I've been quite upset. I mean, if that happened with us, I'd be heartbroken, but with Ross, I don't sort of dwell on it. I just want to make the most of him while I've got him, and the future can take care of itself.
We shall wait and see, shan't we?
Mm-hmm.
Earlier, we met Teresa, whose Corfu holiday romance turned into marriage. But the island isn't home for just one set of unlikely lovers. Leah came to Corfu and fell for a Greek man 17 years her senior. He had a boat, but it wasn't all plain sailing.
It was 1979 when I came out on holiday with my girlfriend, best buddy. She'd booked a holiday to Corfu. I had nothing to do with it. And the first week was a boat trip. And the captain of the boat came up. He seemed incredibly tall and big and overpowering as a personality. And he sort of plunked himself down and started chatting me up. I was a bit, ooh.
I met her right in my boat. She came with a group. And then I think I asked her for a date.
He wasn't sort of guy I normally fancied, but I thought, well, why not go for it? We got back to the hotel and I told my friend, she said, you're mad. She said, why do you want to go out? A bit risky. No, she said, I wouldn't do that. And I was speaking to other girls. They said, oh, you mustn't go out with him, but he's married. I was horrified. Oh, God, married? No, I'm not going anywhere on my own with a married man. I'm in Greece, so I don't want to do that. So I stood him up.
And that was that, until Leah won another boat trip. And guess whose boat it was? No, seriously, go on, have a guess.
I was horrified, oh dear. We got on the boat.
Leah, do you need help?
Thank you. He was really off with me. He was obviously really fed up. We exchanged a few words. I sort of sidled over to him and spoke to him. He said, why didn't you turn up then? I said, well, I heard you were married. He said, if I was married, I would be my wife. That's not true, he said. It's just people spreading nasty rumours.
Right, that's it, until Leah found herself on another boat trip. Yeah, and guess what? Yep, same boat, same Nick, third time lucky.
This time he was a bit chattier. He hesitatingly asked me out again and I agreed. I think it took quite a lot of courage for him to ask me out again.
So after a rough start, Leah and her older man's first date was on solid ground, if a little unusual.
It was quite overwhelming in a way because his parents were there, real village people. Couldn't speak to them at all, and his mother was very hospitable and she was pointing at the food, very welcoming. I was quite charmed by it. I thought it was lovely and felt very safe as well because I was with his parents. So I breathed a sigh of relief after all that. I realised he wouldn't have taken me to dinner with his mum and dad if he was married. The longer I spent with Nick, the more I fancied him, really.
I fancy you too.
You fancied him from the beginning?
Yes, from the very beginning. Otherwise, it was 45 girls in the boat. Do you remember? So speaking to you, that means I fancy you. There were 45 single women in the boat, yeah, from 18 to 20.
This is why I signed up with Club 1830, all the single girls, isn't it? Yeah.
No, I was working for the Club 1830. I don't know regrets.
Nick may have picked Leah out of 45 women, but in typical British fashion, she was more reserved.
It was obviously more than a holiday romance. I wanted to be with him, but I wasn't going to rush into anything. I wasn't going to just give my life up and move out or anything. I wanted. It's a big move.
The thing that annoys me most about Si is that he's a right lazy little monkey. I mean, he'll do anything for me. If I say, oh, the hall needs vacuuming, he'll go and vacuum it. If I say I'm hungry, he'll go make me food. But he doesn't actually notice anything that needs doing, and there's always a pile at the side of the bed of kind of crusty underwear that hasn't made it to the to the laundry basket.
Thanks.
Well, I'm sorry, but that's the only thing that annoys me about you.
Earlier, we left Nabil waiting for his unlikely lover to return from a job interview that could affect their future in the UK.
That's it.
How was it?
They will let me know by the end of the week. How was it? It was all right.
What about the fact that you're Czech?
Oh, they've got a project in Czech Republic. They worked on something.
Did they think that you'd be really useful because of your obvious Czech background?
Well, maybe.
Well done.
Things look promising, but Nabil and Marcela have worked well together since their first meeting almost 2 years ago in Prague.
So we met at the Prague airport, took a taxi, got to the hotel, and finally Nabil says, "May I kiss you?"
And what blew my mind was when I started to kiss you passionately, you kissed me back passionately.
Probably.
And then you started to tell me you loved me.
And you told me.
Yeah, and then you told me you wanted to have a child with me.
Well, you first asked me to spend a night with you, didn't you?
Yeah. I said, is there any chance that we might be able to sleep together at some point in this week? And you said...
Well, I probably agreed.
You said yes.
I did agree,
yes.
yeah.
And I was thinking, oh, when? And Marcela decided tonight. There was no self-consciousness about Marcela and the way she was feeling towards me. So, for example, we're going around on a horse and carriage through Prague, going through the romantic old city. I couldn't see quite properly over the edge, and it seemed an obvious thing to do was for me to sit on Marcela's lap. And, the looks and stares that we got from people walking up and down the street as we went by, and we waved to them like we were king and queen of Prague. It would have looked pretty bizarre to them, I think. And if we'd been snogging, then they would have really we probably would have been deported or something.
But even to Nabil's friends, the relationship can seem a little bizarre.
Well, prior to meeting Marcela, the first thing you said was, I really want to fall in love. More than anything, I want to fall in love. And then he told me about this story and didn't believe him. I mean, yeah, very far-fetched, but she's here. And
Seems like
she's
an
amazing.
unlikely tale.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the first. There's an awful load of unlikely tales that come out of his career.
Yeah.
Spend a lot of time wondering what's going on.
I felt like it must have been really difficult for you. I mean, to come here, leave your what you know behind, you know, come to a new country, you know, a new relationship. But she's lovely, isn't she?
But lovely Marcella's future in the UK is yet to be decided. Bibs and Tony couldn't be more different. She was the teenage tearaway and he was the local policeman 20 years her senior. Although there was no love lost between the couple, that didn't last.
Not a lot attracted me to Tony to start with, but gradually over the weeks I wanted to go back and see him. He was intelligent, he was so funny, and I can remember thinking perhaps one Friday night I'll dress up a bit better. So I dressed up and I met him, and that's when he asked me if I wanted to go out for something to eat. It must have been quite funny actually for people to see us, because Tony in his staid clothes when we first met, and I would be bare feet, no knickers, no bra, a little t-shirt. It must have looked funny.
You could feel the stares as you walked down the street. You knew people were looking at you because of the way Babes dressed, the way I was, and certainly the town back then knew us. Oh yeah, we were looked at, we were talked about. I wouldn't say we were quite a scandal, but bloody hell, it was close to.
Well, close to home, it was quite the scandal. Just ask Babes' mum and dad.
We were shocked.
Utter disbelief.
Yes. Eddie tried to talk her out of it. We couldn't accept it to start with, could we?
No.
No. They decided to get married, but on the wedding day, Eddie took her out for a quiet drink to see if she really wanted to get married. And she did, so we accepted it, and now it's got on, it's lovely.
And Bibs and Tony have been happily married for the last 19 years. They've never looked back, working together.
Oh, thanks, little one.
Playing together.
Good?
Yeah.
And always laughing together.
Me and my bait digging. God, Tony, good bait digging.
Yeah, it's not bad,
Tony's the best bait digger in the whole of the West. They call him JCB, wasn't there, Tony?
Yeah.
Tony, this must be true love, darling.
That's all it is.
Yeah. My feet get stuck.
We've had 19 happy years, and anybody who can have 19 happy years in their time, it's got to be worth it, because 19 years is a long, long, long time.
Another one, Tone.
From the minute we wake up, we're together, to the time we go to bed. We're boring old farts, really. We go to bed at 9 o'clock sometimes, and we're happy to read our papers and do whatever lovers do in bed. Just remember, as they get older, they like it more, but it's very quick.
I'm usually the first to make
No,
up.
you're not. We always take it in turns to make up.
Do we?
We do.
Okay. Is it always my turn then?
No.
Ah.
Marcella gave up everything to be with Nabil, but it seems if you have love, nothing's a sacrifice.
I don't regret coming here. Well, basically, I don't regret meeting Nabil and being with Nabil. I don't care where it is, if it is here or wherever. So now I'm trying my chances here. And maybe if I don't succeed and really feel desperate, we can move somewhere else and try.
After a year of trying to find a job in the UK, Marcella's luck may be changing.
Oh, yes, I see. That would be very nice of you if you could keep me on your files. Yes, thank you. Well, it is frustrating not get a job. Oh, I would be grateful, but somehow I expected it. Thank you, bye-bye. Well, I will see. We still are trying. If the situation is really bad, then we still can try this opportunity to go back and check, and I'm pretty sure I would find something in Czech, so that shouldn't be that big problem. So I will still try a bit longer, not to give up just after a year. What would I like to see in my future? Certainly kids, because I'm 38, so it's high time to start kids, I think. So I would say that's probably my priority. And of course we need some money to live, so we need to earn some money, so getting a job. Yeah, but I enjoy living with Nabil, it's nice.
She's very quick to pick things up. You can't kind of get anything past her. She's always on the ball.
And good in bed.
And good in bed, yeah. That was coming.
Oh, sorry.
Over 1 million tourists visit Corfu every year, and many find love for a fortnight. Leah and Nick's romance, however, has lasted 26 years and counting.
I think definitely it started like a holiday romance. But of course, when the days passing by, you discover that it was something more attractive, something more magnetizing.
I remember after I met Nick, even after the first holiday, I came home and I thought, I really feel now what it is to be loved properly. I remember thinking that. I felt appreciated and loved. And that's why we're still together, I think.
Leah lived between Greece and the UK for 3 years until the couple were married in 1982. But marrying your holiday romance isn't the only unlikely thing about this couple.
Well, we do have a 17 years age gap, Nick and I, but when you fall in love with someone, you fall in love for them.
The age gap didn't make any difference to me because I'm a person that I could be a friend with a 2-year-old boy or girl and a 102-year-old person.
It's not really an issue. He tends sometimes to treat me like his little princess, and I feel like I'm a little girl still, but that's quite nice in a way.
But despite the age gap, the couple are still young at heart.
Wherever we go, we're holding hands. We go for shopping, if we go for movies, if we go for dancing, if we go here and there, and we're still doing it. And I remember somebody who says in the village, says, God bless you, I am with you, we're holding hands after 20 so many years, like kids, like teenagers.
And looking back, Leah still sees the unlikeliness in her relationship.
If you'd have said to me that I would end up and live in Corfu, I would just say, no way. I can remember sitting on a beach when we first came out here, saying to her, isn't this lovely, this island, it's beautiful. It's a great place to come for a honeymoon. Little did I know that I'd just be having a permanent honeymoon here. It's amazing.
Meet Percy and Florence, possibly the greatest and most unlikely love story in the UK. Flo is 101 and Percy is 105, and they've been married for a whopping 80 years.
We were both Sunday school teachers in All Saints Church. That's where we met. We'd gone about a long time together, and then we decided to get married.
We had a fairly simple childhood, really. Our parents were always there for us. My mother didn't go out to work, so she was always there when we came home from school.
The soulmates got married on the 1st of June 1925 and have 3 children, 6 grandchildren and 9 great-grandchildren. But despite 80 years of marriage behind them, it was far from love at first sight.
He was very stern. I felt that he got better later on.
My father was quite prim and proper when he was younger. He seems to have mellowed over the years. He worked in the legal profession and, it showed up to a point, but he loved music and he would play with us like most dads do, bowl in the garden and things like that. We went on holidays until the war came, when it was difficult, of course, to go. They've always been there for each other. If one's been a bit
down in spirits, the other ones cheered them up, and this is how it works. Sometimes I feel very old, especially when I have a bad night with him. But otherwise, I'm not too bad, really. I love the garden, and if I can get out in the garden, the weather's nice, I'm happier out there. Just brought you a small gin and tonic, Dad. Is that all right?
Well, it's only water.
Although Flo likes to get out and about a bit, she's always glad to get back and see her Percy.
They hold hands, and if Mother goes out, as she's taken out usually once a fortnight, first thing she does when she comes back in is goes and gives him a kiss. Oh, I always kiss him goodnight, and I always hold hands. We've got beds close together. Before he goes to sleep, I always hold hands. Couples are inclined to give up at the first hurdle these days. They think it's all going to be so special and easy. They don't realise that you still got to work at being married and staying married.
And with 1 in 3 marriages now ending in divorce, Flo and Percy have defied all the odds.
We never go to sleep bad friends. We always say we're sorry. That's the most important thing, I think. We've had a very happy married life. Very happy. God willing, we should be together for a bit longer.
I realised that it didn't matter about the age because I love him so much, and we're such soulmates to each other that we decided to buy a house together and move in, and now we're living happily ever after, aren't we?
We are. Mm-hmm.